right, welcome back, everybody, to another new episode of A Whole New World with me, your host, Jacob New. And as always, it is a pleasure getting to speak to everybody, and it is time for our dad joke of the week. So I've decided I'm going to do this experiment, and so I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you guys know which one gets there first. Which came first, chicken or the egg? I won't find out. I will. And Trisha's sitting at home like, no, you didn't. So, we are very lucky today to have back on the show Debrah from the one and only Royalty TV.
Hi.
Hey. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So,
glad to be here.
How are things going since the last time we talked to you?
Oh my goodness, things have been going well. 2020 has been off to an amazing start. I launched my own podcast.
Oh,
so besides Royalty TV, I have my own podcast.
All right, and what's your podcast name and what do you do?
Okay, so the name of it is Light the Path Podcast.
Okay.
And what it is myself and sometimes guests talking about, good times, bad times, ugly times. I just finished a 4-part series on weight loss. So I had 4 people on there. One had VSG surgery. One did just traditional fitness. One did keto. And then what was the first? The first one, they did Weight Watchers.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a series, a 4-part series, so today was the finale of that.
Okay, well, that's awesome. And that's so pertinent to, the beginning of the year, too, because everybody has those weight loss goals.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I think I've shared before in the show, I love the show The Biggest Loser. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have. I like it, too.
Yeah, it's so good, because I just like watching the transformations. But yeah.
I mean, because it's tough. I like to eat. That's why I work out, because I like to eat, and not always the right things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an Oreo addict. I'm in recovery.
But,
it's hard. It's really a mindset, and that's what the continuous program that people kept saying, it was a whole mindset. I got it in my mind and said, I need to be this way and not this way. So it was inspirational to me, and I'm not really on a journey. I think if I stay away from Oreos, I'll be good.
Yeah. No, it's for sure. It's also Girl Scout cookie season too. That's my kryptonite is the Samoas and those Thin Mints.
Oh my goodness! I just got off a 21-day fast, and I didn't realize that March 1st is the last day for Girl Scout cookies. So I ordered 5 boxes.
You're stocking up.
I stocked up, and she was like, "I'm glad that you told me because we're running out." I'm like, "What?" So yesterday was my last full day of the fast, and so today I ate a Thin Mint. It was so sweet. I ate 1 Thin Mint. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
1.
No, and I like to freeze them.
I know.
That's so good. Yeah.
But you got to eat them 2 at a time.
I usually have 4.
Back to back. But I ate 1, and I was like, "This is so sweet." That's all I had. I couldn't believe that I had 1.
Yeah. No, it's...
So I bought 5 boxes, but then my brother Malvin, he already finished 2 boxes, and then the Thin Mints were already open. He's like, "When are you finishing your stuff? When is your last day?" And I'm like, "Save me some Girl Scout cookies." So yeah, Girl Scout, they're so good.
Oh, they are. No, but it's got me thinking about doing the weight loss, and you talked about it being a mindset, and one of the things that came to my mind is one of my friends, she's doing this called an Iron Mind Challenge. And so what she has to do is she has 6 pillars, and every day she has to do them. And it's 60 days, you do them consistently. Okay. One of them's like doing a cold shower, you journal. I don't remember all the pillars, but there's like eating right, not drinking, and 2 others, I think, if I did my math right. I wasn't quite using my fingers as I did that. But and so it's just like you have to be accountable and have other people that are helping you to be accountable for that.
Yeah.
And I know it's tough because you have those days, and she's talked to me too about it, how that sometimes she just doesn't want to do it. She's like, today is rough, but she'll talk to her accountability partner and do that. And I was just thinking, like, how important, like, and even when you're doing weight loss, whether you're doing keto or traditional, how important that support system is.
You know, it really is. And if you think about accountability, even with just besides weight loss, anything, because once you tell somebody, it's like, okay, they're going to hold you accountable. Even if they don't come back right away, they may see you a month later like, hey, Jacob, how was da-da-da-da? You're like, oh, you remember that? So to me, when you tell anybody, I think that holds you accountable, which makes it more inevitable for you to meet the goal. Yeah. So sometimes I'll just like run stuff off my brother's like, hey, I was thinking about XYZ. They may say, oh, go do it, whatever. And I'm like, okay. But then when I know like super things, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't tell nobody because it's going to hold you accountable. So accountability is a big thing. I mean, to be able to succeed with your goals. Yeah. Because you need that person sometime to give that little nudge like, I thought you said you were going to do it.
Yeah, get off your butt and go do it. Yeah.
Right. So we need that. I think we really need that.
Yeah. I mean, today's episode, we're kind of focusing on that topic, which I'm very glad that you brought that up with the weight loss. And but how do you go about and developing that support system? Like, do you feel like you have that yourself too, and with different things?
I feel like I have a great support system. One of my support systems, besides my family, I mean, because for me, I expect my family to be supportive, but also my church family. Mm-hmm. So always, one of my hashtags is my church sisters are better than yours. And I'm like, we're always accepting new members come, but having that support group, especially being new to the city and being single in the city, I don't feel like, oh, I gotta have a date or something like that. I'm like, hey, I can call one of my church sisters. They're like, oh, I'll go to lunch or we can go to a movie, and I don't feel alone. Besides, I have family I can do that with, but I have somebody else that I can call, count on, hang out with if I need to talk through some lady stuff. I don't want to tell my brothers everything. They don't want to hear about, El Chapo or whoever. Yeah. They don't want to know that. So I definitely depend on them to be there and to sort of help guide. And some of them are older than me. So I've always been like that. I guess sort of gravitated to the seniors of the church or in life, just like, y'all have been there, like, help me out.
Yeah. It's nice to have that. Have the wisdom from the older, the seniors from us, but I think it's also nice to have that balance of people that are going through the same trials and the same part of life that you're in as well, because you want that wisdom to be like, hey, don't do that, but then you also want the people to go through life with,
Yeah, definitely. And then I also need the young people too, like my kids. They're important to me because they keep me young. They keep me relevant. Like, I know what these words mean. Like, I can use them in a cool sentence, talking to them like, oh, you know what? That was fire. That was lit. I can say stuff like that, and they're not like, oh, no. They're like, yeah.
I'd be like, lit, did you just light a candle? Where's this candle? No.
The one that I like the best is no cap. Like, for real? And so I sent my son something. I was like, yeah, no cap. And he's like thumbs up on the phone. And so then I said, no cap or gown. He said, oh, okay, yeah, I'm wrong. He thumbs up.
You're gonna have to educate me on that one because I don't know. But
no cap is like you're not lying about something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. So if you say no cap or gown, then that means you're really not lying. Like, you're really telling the truth. But if somebody's lying, then you'll say, oh, you're capping. I know. See?
Okay.
See, and I sounded cool saying that.
I'm going to try using that with my 5th graders tomorrow. I'm like, no cap. See how many of them are like, what?
Yeah, if you say, sit down, or I'm going to call your mom, no cap. Mr. No, they're going to say, don't mess with y'all.
Yeah, I'm expanding my vocab, y'all.
Yeah, don't mess with me. Don't mess with me, or it's going to be lit up in here.
Yeah. Lavender lit.
Look, to calm your little nerves.
Yeah, cause y'all need some calming. That's for sure.
It's so funny. But yeah, that's what I do. I try to lean on those different support groups.
Yeah.
For positivity, for sure.
No, it's good. Because I know I've had some friends that like I've had to boot, you know, just because for various reasons. But speaking of just like making sure people that I want in my support group, I want people that, you know, well, for one, they're going to support me, you know, they're going to be there. They're going to tell it to me like it is. No cap.
Yes,
like,
there you
they're
go.
like, Jacob, you slacking on your workouts, no cap. Or, you know, like.
Yeah, and you don't want just people that are going to say yes to you. Like, I want somebody to challenge me. I want them to say, no, that's not really a good idea. Or, you're not going as hard as you think you are.
Yeah.
You know, and that takes courage for friends, support groups to say that. Like, no, you're not going as hard as you think you are. Like, go harder. You just, you know, being mediocre. Like, what else are you going to do? And that was, like, one of the challenges that my brother gave us for Royalty TV. He said, you know, so next year, what are y'all going to do as far as your personal brand? How are you going to expand yourself? So, like, we're having a meeting. He's asking us this. And I was like, I'm going to start a podcast? You know, like, and he's like, okay, good.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he wants to see, what does that look like? What is it going to be about? Like, I was throwing names off of him. He's like, nope. No, I don't like that. No. And I'm like,
oh, what? Wait, whose podcast is this?
Right. He's like, nah, no. And then finally I'm like, light the path. He's like, yes, that's good.
Yeah.
So then I had to find a logo and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was challenging and it's different because, you know, with Royalty, we do it all together and I don't have to do any editing. I just wait for it to come out and share it. But for my own stuff, I have to edit my own stuff.
Yeah.
So it's different. So I'm like, oh, wow.
But then you learn a lot of different cool things about it, though, too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
It reminds me of, because like you're just expanding and you're trying new things, which good friends should do. But I do remember last time you were on the show, you had Try Something New Tuesday.
Yes.
What was the most interesting Tuesday you had?
Oh my goodness. 2019 was amazing.
Yeah.
It was my year of yes. I tried new things Tuesday. I've tried a lot of different food. One of the foods that I've tried was oysters.
Okay.
And I never really tried oysters.
Yeah.
But I probably should have started slow. I should have probably started with maybe steamed or charbroiled. I went straight for raw oysters. So I was at Papa Do's with a friend and they're like,
so good.
You should try these. And I'm like, no. And they're like, no, what about trying new things too? Okay. And I'm like, okay, I tried. So I did try it and I was like, wow, these are pretty good. So that was probably the craziest thing that I tried. I wanted to try skydiving, but I couldn't get anybody to go with me.
Oh, really?
Yes. That's something that it's still on my list of things to try.
It's on my bucket list too. So
I wanted to do it for my 40th birthday. That would have been my a signature time to do it. But everybody
They're like, I'll support you from the ground. I'll be there.
That's what everybody was saying. Like, I'll take pictures. I'll hold your stuff. And I'm like, no, I want to.
Yeah, I'll fly the plane. No.
I want to do that little. You know how you see like four people like hanging all together. Like, I want to do that. Like, we're all coming down. Like.
Oh, like in the circle. Okay, yeah.
Like 3 people. I want to do that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So we should go.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Your wife is gonna be like, "No, you will not do this."
Might have to clear a couple things with the boss.
But, find out first. See,
but
I'm single,
it is on my bucket list.
It's on my list of things to do. Yeah.
And we've done. Have you done the indoor skydiving?
No, but I was like, maybe that would be a first step to introduce like the people that want to do it but are scared.
I don't think it's the same as like jumping out of a plane, but it kind of gives you like a feeling,
the airy feeling. Yeah. Have you did it?
I've done it once. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it exhilarating though?
Yeah, I really enjoyed doing it. I just haven't been back. Not because of like, I just live really far away from it, and so it's just hard for me to make it out there. But it was a lot of fun.
Was it iFly?
Yeah, iFly.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
that's exciting.
Yeah. No, but I think that's important though too. Is like that you have the friends that will challenge you to eat those oysters. You know, they bring those new things like, here, try this. Like, okay, they bring new things to the table. You know.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me think to myself too, like, am I bringing new things to the table for my friends? And like, how can I do that? You know. So.
With me, I try to be open. And my thing is, like, I be wanted, if something is great, like, I want to tell everybody. I'm like, hey, Jacob, oysters are great. You should try it. Or if something, you know, or if I read a great book, I'm like, you know what? This book was so good. Like, I'll gift it to you. Or, you know, I listened to a podcast and I learned this. You know, so I love sharing that with people. I'm like, I can't contain it. Like, even my kids, I was like, hey, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Your mindset will be changed. You're young. You should read it. You know, like, if I would have read it at 20, it would have been, you know, like, I'm all
game changer,
psyched up about it. So that's me. I'm just a sharer. I'm probably oversharing.
I don't think there's too much I don't think there's a thing that's like oversharing. I mean, people might say like there's TMI, like maybe about personal things or like hygiene or like I don't even know everything about people's hygiene, but you know, like in those cases. But I don't think there's such a thing as like it's just oversharing. Like look at this, like because I like that. I hearing you say that, like I wish I did more of it. That's I'm gonna add that to my list of improvements for Jacob New 2020 Jacob.
Share.
So, but man, what have you done though? Like when you have had that friend that you're like, oh, okay, we've been friends for a while, and then they kind of, because sometimes friends change, and like we change, and so. How have you dealt with that change and maybe like a friend's not as supportive anymore? Like do you have any examples or?
I mean, something like that. And when I first moved to the city, I'm like, man, it's so much going on. And that's why I love the Dallas area, the Metroplex, because there's always something going on. Yeah. So I like that factor. But then a lot of people they're like, I see you doing so much. Invite me to something. And so then I do. And then they don't go. And then I do. And they don't go. And then in my head, I'm like, how many times do I invite? Before I don't. Yeah. And so there was one situation, because, you know, there's a stereotype like women can't get along. And since I've been here, I've gotten along with all the women that I've encountered. And there was one young lady. She was so negative. Like, we hung out one time. We went to an outing. And I'm like, okay, that was fun. But like the whole time she complained, like about her job, about her apartment complex, about just life. She was happy and sad. It was weird. And I'm like, okay, maybe she was just having a day. Yeah. So then I hung out with her again, and I'm like, okay. And so she was sort of still. It was a new job now, but then it was a bad coworker. You know, it was something else. And I was like, ooh. I'm like, Lord, I need to probably disconnect from her, because like afterwards I felt drained. I didn't feel inspired. I felt like, like I felt bad for her. I felt bad. And so I prayed. I'm like, Lord, I need to disconnect. So then she invited me to something. I'm like, wow, okay. Maybe she's going to, you know, be more upbeat with the situation. She was still the same negative, and I'm like, okay. So then there was one day I was looking on social media, and it said for me to follow her. And I'm like, no, I've already followed her. I thought it was like a glitch or something. And so I went follow, and then it just like blanked out. And it was like, what? And so then I texted her, and then I didn't get a response. And then I tried to find her again, and she wasn't there. So she unfriended me. What? Yeah, so I was confused. I'm like, what in the world happened? Yeah, what did it do? And then I said, well, and then the Lord was like, well, there's your prayer. Yeah, you want to disconnect. You didn't know how, but she ended up disconnected from me. And I was like, that was so weird. So then fast forward, I saw her at another event. She was acting like nothing even happened. I'm like, this is weird. But I was like, I'm not going to say anything, because it didn't matter, because she was being very negative, and it was making me feel bad. Yeah. And so then maybe a whole year went past. And then finally she came to me. She said, you know what? I was going through XYZ, and I disconnected from you. I should have told you, but I do that. I'll even disconnect from my grandma. If she... From grandma? Yeah. Says something to me or whatever. I guess because she was saying, like, I was trying to encourage her and push her to do more. Like, hey, you should try this solution. Yeah. And she didn't like that. But she didn't tell me. Yeah. I didn't know. I thought I was being helpful. So... Yeah. That was one situation that I've encountered. And I guess when people have those situations, sometimes they'll just take care of themselves. You don't necessarily have to do anything. Like, I didn't exert any energy to disconnect. Like, I didn't have to have a talk with her or anything like that. She has invited me to stuff this year, but I didn't go. I'm like, nope, I'm just going to keep it cool.
Yeah.
Keep it where it is and stay my distance. Yeah. So, I don't know. I never had to really, like, have a conversation. Yeah.
I think that's just kind of how it's been for me, too, is it's like people that are negative or I don't want to hang out with, it just kind of slowly just kind of
disconnect.
Away.
Yeah.
But I do hate it when people like you invite them to things and like, oh no, I can't make it, or they always like they cancel, or like, because I've had some friends where like I've like, hey, let's go meet up, and oh yeah, oh dude, I can't. I forgot I have this, or man,
that makes me crazy.
Yeah,
I'm like, how many times do I ask? But then when I see you, you're like, why didn't you invite me? And I'm like, well, I invited you to like 3 things and you didn't come.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I try to, I'm inclusive. I want everybody to come. I want everybody to be happy, and everybody don't want to.
And what is the limit that you stop inviting people at? Like, how many invitations do they get?
In my head, it's 3, but because of my brain, I'm an overthinker. I give 5.
Okay.
I'm like, I need to exhaust every possibility. Okay. Maybe I didn't ask them at the right time. Maybe, it wasn't their thing. So I asked 5 times.
I like it. And it's still a prime number. 3, 5. They're all prime. That's,
so, I mean, 3, I'm like, wait a minute. What is this? But then, because I want to...
Definitely about the 5th time, you're like, nah.
Yeah, I just...
It's been 5 times.
Bye-bye. Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Man, because it almost kind of feels like when they do that, they don't respect you very much, like a respect for your time. Or
now, if they say they're gonna come and then they don't come, to me, I feel disrespected. But when you just, flake out, like some people are flakes. They're just like, oh yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. Or send me the information. Whenever somebody says send me the information, I'm like, okay, you don't want to go. I done posted this information like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Just say, I'm not available. Because I have learned to say that with my whole year of yes, even though I was saying yes to a lot of things that I wanted to serve me, things that were great for me, I was also able to say no.
Yeah.
No without any explanation. Just like, no. I'm not available. Like with no excuse. Because I felt like there were times where when I gave an excuse, it was a little white lie. Like, I had something to do.
Yeah. That
something to do is probably, take a bubble bath and get in bed. But, I would say that.
That's for you, though. I mean, like,
I know,
nobody
but
needs to know.
I just say, no, I'm not available. Mm-hmm. And just left it at that.
Yeah.
Because I have a right to say that.
I like that. And I was having another Girl Scout cookie conversation. You can tell where my mind's at right now. With another friend over the weekend. But he was telling me one of his friends, they would go, because like you go and they're outside of like Walmart and different things, and you have those people like, oh, you used to be able to say, oh man, I don't have any cash, and now they're like, that's cool, we accept card.
They got swipers.
I know, I'm like,
they're so sophisticated. Yes.
I was one of those people too, but long story short, his friend would say, just no, because I don't think you hear that enough. No.
Ooh, that was a lot. That was a lot. Why did she have to add that part?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, but it's just, I think we need to get better at just saying no instead of, oh, I don't have cash, or next time I come by, I'll get some, or
and that's what I'm saying. You can't have that little white lie. You have to stop it. Even when I was fasting, because I fasted for 21 days, so that was prime Girl Scout season. Like I walked past them, and I tweeted one day. I'm like, I just told a Girl Scout, no, thank you. Like, I know, I didn't feel like I crushed her, but I felt crushed when I walked out. I was like,
feel bad.
No, thank you. And I'm walking in, I'm like, going to the avocado, like, this is not a cookie. So, just a no thank you is fine. No thank you, not today.
Yeah.
That's easier, because they have swipers now. That's not even a problem.
I know.
That is not a problem.
They got me, and I was like, oh, well, okay, guess I'm getting cookies today.
Yeah. 5 for $25.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's... Wow, I'm sorry. I just lost my train of thought because I'm like cookies. I'm like, what am I gonna eat tonight? And there's just like a whole
because they're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good because they're like Chick-fil-A. They're not available all the time.
Yeah.
Like Sunday is the main day you want Chick-fil-A.
No, yeah, no, it's true.
It's the main day.
Every Sunday.
I'll leave church. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for a lemonade. Not today. So that's why the Girl Scout cookies, they're so good because you can't get them all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can have a brain freeze over them.
No, it's true. It's so true. And like, I'm just thinking about Samoas and Thin Mints. And I was thinking about the s'mores one they got out now too.
I know. I had those last year. I didn't get any this year.
Were they good?
They were good.
I haven't ventured out.
If you like s'mores, they are good.
Okay. I'll have to get those before March 1st.
You better hurry. They might be out. Yeah. I don't know what's today.
But
it's getting close.
It's the 25th.
Yeah.
The 25th.
They're running down.
I got a couple days.
Okay. You can try. They might be out, but I don't know how
are.
In demand that the s'mores were. I mean, since was it last year or 2 years ago? Yeah.
But but I think being able to say no, though, that shows a certain amount of like respect towards that person, because you're not trying to lead them on. You're not saying that. You're just being upfront and just being honest with them. Like, no, not right now. And kind of tying it back into like the whole friendships and relationships thing, I think that says a lot. And I do want to ask the question, like, are you the type of person that everybody has your respect until they lose it, or do they have to earn it?
That's a good one. And I thought about that. I was like, I don't know. I feel like everybody starts with respect. I'm going to respect you until you do something abnormal. I look at you a little like, so what? But I don't think that anything should warrant disrespect. We can have a difference of opinions. I mean, from religion, politics, sexuality, food, whatever that is, but I can still respect you. Yeah. I feel like that should always be a staple in any kind of relationships, friendships, relationships, family. As long as the respect is there, you can get along with anyone. Yeah. You shouldn't have to be like, because you do this, you like blue and I like yellow. I'm just gonna disrespect you. Yeah. I don't think disrespect should ever be a part of it. No. If you keep it that way, you can still agree to disagree. So that's how I feel. I feel like respect should always be there. Now, if somebody disrespects me,
yeah, it's a different story.
It makes it different, but I always feel like I should not necessarily disrespect them, because that makes me go to their level. So I'm like, what? I'm not going to be like you. I'm not going to get disrespectful and go that way. I'm just going to disconnect. Yeah. I still respect you, but I don't have to deal with you in that manner in my everyday life. In my, even with the situation that I was saying with the young lady that was negative, I never disrespected her. Like, what the heck? You unfollow me because of me trying to encourage you? You couldn't accept that? Like, I could have act ugly, but I was like, no, I'm not going to give anybody that power to be having me go out of character. That would, to me, that when you are disrespectful to somebody else, it's because you're going out of character and you're lashing up because maybe you see something in them that you want to knock down because you don't see that in yourself. Yeah. So I feel like that's a slight reflection of them if they're disrespecting me because I like yellow. Okay. Yeah. What did yellow do to you? Nothing. Nothing. So in those cases, I feel like disrespect should never be an option.
No, I like that viewpoint. And, it's something I like. I try to work on it. I too, like, I try not to be disrespectful back. Like, if you have been disrespectful, okay, then fine. Then I'll be nice to you when I see you, but I'm not gonna go seek you out.
Yeah, like, no. Then that's when you lose that option. And I think too, with the whole media age, the technology age, people can give their opinions so freely without facing you because they're behind a screen. People want to say a lot of stuff. I mean, like but then if they saw you, would they really disrespect you in that way? And I feel like a lot of celebrities, public figures get a lot of backlash from people that if you met them, they would want to take a selfie with you.
Yeah.
I mean, people talk about the president all the time, but you see people.
They go and they're like, look,
they're taking a picture with them. And I'm just, saying him because he gets a lot of stuff on Twitter and stuff like that. I don't follow him, but I see, people posting and stuff like that. But if you saw that person in person, would you want to take a selfie with them? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that person,
Right. So I don't feel like you should be behind a screen being disrespectful because people say a lot of stuff. And even from, what do they call them? Like ghost accounts where,
Yeah, I think.
They don't even.
Catfishing or something.
You don't even have a picture in the profile, but you have all these words to say that are disrespectful or mean or something like that. And I don't think we should hide behind that because in real life, would you really do that?
No.
I don't know.
And
probably not.
No, and I think we kind of get in this era of just like, I'm going to write it or I'm going to type it.
Yeah.
And I think it's sometimes better to just, it's okay to be emotional. And I've done it before where I've typed something up and I've clicked draft. And then I'm like, I go back and I look at it, I'm like, ooh, probably shouldn't say it that way. And like, I type a new one or like reword it or however. But I think, because at email at work we use email. And so like there are some times where I'm like, I'll just type, and I'm like, and then I like stop and I'm like, I don't know if and like I always save it and go back and look at it. I'm like, okay, let me rework myself.
Yeah, because have you ever heard of the book The 5-Second Rule?
No,
I haven't read it, but someone I
use it for food.
in a group that I help on their board, they were telling me about the book. Like if you're angry and you're about to do something, count down like with the shuttles: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then if you're still angry, then figure it out because really emotions only last about 90 seconds. But if we keep feeding them, they last. So that's why So if I have something to say, I may be like. In my head, I'm like, a 5, 4, 3. So either you rock it out or you're like, okay, we're going to chill. I'm going to go this way. I think you got to give yourself time and space, especially in a high emotional situation. Because especially if you're with family or friends, y'all have that, what triggers your wife. So...
Yeah, I try not to do
You try not to do those things, but if you get in that situation, you're like, and she knows what triggers you. So if you're like, okay, she knows me, she loves me. A 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give me a hug. Come over here. So you can take control of the situation. And I think if we do that a little bit more, because we're so instant, it's such an instant society right now. I need you to know right now what's on my mind. But then 2 seconds later, we're like, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. So if we give ourselves that time and space, even 5 seconds, I think can make a difference with escalating the situation or diffusing the situation. So I try to think first and then speak. Be swift to hear and slow to speak.
Ooh.
Ding.
Ooh, I like that. Swift to hear and
slow to speak.
Wow. And I'm slow to remember. Okay, swift to hear and slow to speak.
You got to be like that because, like me, I'm a thinker, so I'm thinking of infinite things. Like it's all coming out like a Google, messenger, like da 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 da. So I'm like, reason number 502. I should not knock this person out. My brother's at work. He can't bail me out. It's the weekend. Okay. You know what? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you later. So, just to be able to, let things sink in. Because sometimes you got to think about people's tone. Where are they with the situation? Because a lot of times we think about ourselves. Like, they're attacking me. And I always tell people that when I'm in a disagreement or argument, it's not me against you. It's us against the problem or the situation and what we're disagreeing on. Because if we're attacking each other, I don't know why I keep doing that. We keep attacking each other, it's going to make the situation very bad. We need to attack the problem. What is the actual problem? If it's is it something that we can agree to disagree on, or is it something that, maybe I just didn't understand where you were coming from?
Yeah.
To get a better understanding, if we focus on the problem opposed to attacking each other. So that's how I try to diffuse stuff too, so there's no disrespect.
That's a great strategy to do that. And I think a lot of times, sometimes we take things happen to us, and it's something that happened to them earlier in the day, and they're still trying to
work through it.
Yeah, thank you. Work through that, and they just lash out at us, and it has oftentimes nothing to do with us or what we did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes it does, but
Yeah.
And so I like that, and stopping and breathing.
Yeah,
take
a second. Take a second to just think about it.
Give yourself some oxygen, guys.
Yeah, you need that air to get your thoughts together.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's something that I think a lot of our youth today are missing out on. And teachers, we do our best. And I know, but it's just, I'm seeing a lot more in the classroom settings that's just lashing out. And
yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw these, but I remember like on TV we had a lot more focus on different like almost like coping strategies. Like I remember like, hey, like Saturday morning cartoons that have like commercials that like stop, breathe, count to 3.
I never heard that.
I remember it was like some like cartoon and they'd count to 3 and like if that doesn't work, count to 10.
Because I don't remember Tom and Jerry ever counting to 3. Yeah. Tom just like Jerry like.
I think it was on like WB 33 or something, like one of the, like the local stations or something. But yeah, no, I just remember growing up and like watching it, and I'm sitting there in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stop and breathe, count to 3, and then it happened like I didn't stop and breathe sometimes, But I just, yeah.
But I think that's a good point, because of programming, we see a lot of shows where people aren't, coping with different situations. Because I mean, we got to talk about a little bit about, kids using drugs more, prescription drugs and things like that. So they're not necessarily dealing with situations. They don't know how to cope. Yeah. They don't know how to cope because they want to take a pill for it, or they want to,
want to mask it.
Instead of dealing with the situation. Yeah. So I think that's part of the program. You see, these different housewives and hip hop, whoever, all these shows that, these are adult, beautiful women that are like throwing drinks and pulling hair, and you're like, wait, what? Yeah. At my age, I'm like, I don't want to go to brunch with y'all. You know what I mean? Like, no, I wouldn't dare.
I want to keep my glass of my drink until it gets to my mouth.
Yeah. I do not want that mimosa because I don't know what it's going to do to me. So they see those kind of things and they feel like, because they are on TV, those are, you look at television
quote,
like
reality TV.
Yeah, and you look at that and I'm like, that is not reality. Me and my friends do not do this at brunch. Like, I wouldn't even. Don't invite me.
Yeah, I think I think of it more of like a Friends episode. Like we have some disagreements, but we work through it.
Yeah. So I mean, look at that. I mean, how long ago was Friends? That was over 20 years ago.
Yeah, early 2000s, right?
Yeah, so we can't really say there's that many programming showing things, working it out with your friends, having a disagreement and like, you know what, let's talk about this. Let's get together for brunch, not to throw at each other, but to talk about it and, resolve the situation, opposed to slinging drinks and pulling hair. Like, what is this?
Which, they do it, I think, because of ratings, but I mean, it also kind of like teaches the behavior and almost, in my eyes, kind of glorifies it.
Yeah, and makes it acceptable. Like, if, you're young in your formative years and you're like, oh, if my friend disagrees with me, I'm going to pull her hair or reach around and get your mimosa and,
Yeah.
No.
I'm going to take your juice box and squeeze it on your head.
Yeah.
How about them apples?
Right.
How about them apple juices? Yeah.
Right, and do that. So it's like, we really got to, and I applaud you educators, because I'm from the age of giving kids spankings. I'm in the stern talking to, not up here, I get down.
Oh, no, when you get down on their level, yes.
So I applaud you all because, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of personalities and a lot, stems from the home. Mm-hmm. And those things you can't fix at school because they're from home. Yeah. So y'all are doing an amazing job year in and year out dealing with, more issues than just what you have to deal with as far as educating the child. It's the whole total being. Yeah.
They call it teaching the whole child. And so we teachers, we're doing our best. And it's not easy, but I mean, that's just our reality too. Because I mean, it's not like you're gonna go out into the world, and we don't go out every day, and it's just me and myself out there driving or working or walking at the grocery store. You're gonna bump into all kinds of different people.
Yeah.
And you need to learn how to cope and talk and interact with everybody.
Absolutely.
And so, but man, time has flown by. It has, and. So, but I do you have any closing remarks for our listeners today?
Let me see. I guess a closing remark would be to be around those people that are going to evolve with you and help you evolve. My pastor was just saying a couple weeks ago that either you're stretching and you're being stretched at the same time. So in one way, you're reaching up, you're trying to, get with those elders or those people that are already ahead of you, but then also bring in the younger generation. So you're stretching and you're being stretched. So make sure that you're moving in that direction constantly in order to keep evolving. And that's what I do. I try to be sort of 1 foot there and 1 foot there. I work with different boards, one young professionals, one with domestic violence, one with just women that are working, trying to empower themselves. So get involved and get around people that are going to help you evolve.
Yeah. And I like your stretching analogy too, because I mean, not only you're reaching up for what other people have known, but you're bringing other people along with you too, because I mean, we're not doing life alone.
Absolutely. Even and we can say that, but it takes it says it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a village to live life. You need that tribe. You need those group of people to help cultivate you and move you in different directions. Even if it's something negative, that's going to still help you. That's part of the growing. Yeah. You can take something negative and you know what? I'm going to take this little piece of soil and I'm going to keep moving with it.
Yeah. No, and I think those negative things that we often grow more from too.
It's a lesson.
If you can take it.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being a guest on the show again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And to everybody out there, don't forget to check out Royalty TV and
Light the Path Podcast,
which can be found
on all platforms: Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, all major platforms.
So just type in Light the Path.
Yes.
And it'll pop up. And give it a listen.
Yes, subscribe, rate, review.
So, thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been another fantastic episode. As always, if you only learn to do one thing, learn to make a difference. Y'all have a good night.